In the good book, referring to the 10 Commandments, one of them specifically states, "Thou shalt not steal." Now, Farrell,
Yes.
I believe you have added an ethical twist to this commandment, which has now morphed into, "Thou shalt ethically steal" in the business world. So, Don Farrell, whatever do you meaneth with this word ethical as it pertains to selling and stealing business from the competition?
Outstanding question. All right,
Why,
here's what I
thank you.
mean. I mean that there are many, many marketplaces, Annie, that do not have enough business for everyone to get their fair share and still do well. As a result, they have to resort to liberating, or in plain terms, stealing business from their competition in order to sustain and grow their businesses. And if they don't, they won't be in business, Annie. So they're faced with A, going out of business, or B, do I steal it from my competition? And it's my claim, it's my belief that there are many competitors out there that don't deserve the business that you deserve. More importantly, your associates, your employees that work for you are entitled to gainful employment. And it's your responsibility as a business leader to provide for those people. And if you don't, their hours get cut, their benefits get cut. They don't get uniform. They don't get the tools and resources they need to excel. So the responsibility is ours as business leaders, as people who are supposed to provide for their employees, to provide for those folks. All right? So when it comes down to A, failing to provide, or B, stealing from undeserving competition so that me and my associates and my family and their families can do well, I know it's all about ethical theft. And again, these competitors don't do things right. They don't create loyal customers. They don't treat their people the way they should, their employees. And we do. And when we do, we are deserving of said business. That's my claim, Annie.
Now, also in the good book, the scriptures says, "Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." Don Farrell, in our business world, do you consider thy competition as your neighbor?
I do.
Well, doesn't your competition deserve to provide for those they care about too?
No, they don't.
Well, mister, you're just going to have to answer this next signature question of mine. Why?
Because I care more for my people and my associates and their families and their futures. I care more for them than my competition does. And as a result, Annie, I deserve the business and they don't. If they were to ever come up to the same kind of commitment level that I've got, then they would be deserving. But I find in most cases, in almost all cases, they talk a good game, they don't walk a good game in terms of taking care of their people to the degree that they should. Loyalty is one of the subjects that is near and dear to my heart. And even as late as last week, I'm standing in front of 70 business owners. And these are millionaires, multimillionaires. And of course, I ask them the same question I ask many other audiences. And I ask them this: is satisfaction the name of the game? Is it the end all? Is this what we're trying to get from our consumers? And 99.9% of the time, guess what they say? They say yes. And in fact, they're wrong. And to prove that they're wrong, I ask them a follow-up question. I ask them to tell me, how many of you shop at Walmart? And all the hands go up. All right, the people that put your hands up, how many of you also shop at Target? And all their hands go up. And then I ask them one more. Do you shop at Macy's as well? And a fair amount do. So if they're shopping around to competitors like that, then they probably are satisfied. And what they are not is loyal. They're not loyal to one provider. And it's because those businesses have not earned their loyalty. And the definition of loyalty is, number one, it's the only place they'll shop. And number two, they'll tell their friends and family about their operation. That's the definition of loyalty. Now, if loyalty is now the name of the game and that's the end all and that's what we're trying to achieve with our consumers, and it should be, then what about our own employees? What about our associates that work for us and work with us? If we don't have loyalty at the associate level, how can we expect to have loyalty at the consumer level, especially when our associates are expected to deliver that loyalty? All right. So you really have to, in my opinion, you have to achieve loyalty not only at the consumer level, but you certainly have to achieve it at the associate level, probably first and foremost, before you're ever going to have true loyalty in the marketplace.
On a final note, when you wrote this book, Ethical Theft, who did you write it for?
I wrote it for two kinds of individuals. One's the leaders, folks that lead these salespeople, and secondly, the actual salespeople themselves. And I hope it resonates with both, because what I attempted to write here, and hopefully we pulled it off, is a very tactical and practical book where they can learn a lot of different things and apply them immediately, Annie, not next week, not next year, immediately, on the next phone call, on the next sales call. They can apply this stuff right away and start generating return for their investment. That's who I wrote it for.
Well, Don Farrell, why hire you? Why hire Fresh Revenues? What makes you so unique apart from all these others and stand apart from everyone else?
Going back to those words I just used a little while ago, and that is, I find it hard to believe, Annie, that someone could care more and is willing to do more and is focused on the objective at hand with his client than we are. That's what it comes down to, is how much more can my company exceed expectations? Does my company really walk the talk when it comes to providing loyalty? I mean, that's just not a word. That's not a tattoo. That's not a class. That's reality, man. Is our company doing all those things we need to do to make our clients loyal to us and vice versa? And if we don't, then they shouldn't be my client. They shouldn't be with us. They should go with the competition.
Don, where can they find Ethical Theft on your website? Can you give your web address?
Sure, I'd be delighted to. Thanks, Annie. It's www.freshrevenues.com. www.freshrevenues.com. And there's a tab there that says books and ebooks, and they can find Ethical Theft and our other book, The Good Book of Business, on there as well.
Thank you, Don Farrell, for educating myself and our audience on what ethical means in the world of business and what ethical theft is truly about. And more importantly, thank you for bringing care and bringing heart into the business world, because you explained why you do what you do, why stealing a business ethically is not wrong. And that is a very important message that I believe our future generation needs to learn.
It's been my pleasure, Annie. Thank you.